meals, then run, don't walk, to Bob Wine's on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Daily till 4, Saturdays till 2. We'll see you there this weekend.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Beautiful Thursday morning, 77 degrees here at the studios of The Source. It's time now for Veterans News, and Hank Whittier is here. Good morning, Hank.
I am here today, and I've got Stan McLean, County Commissioner, and of course Joseph here with us. And Stan and I both forgot our glasses. And I don't forget them, I just don't bring them with me. And then I can't see anything, which is,
I would offer you to borrow mine, but forget about it.
Well, Joe, at least you brought yours. So.
Mine are magnifying glasses. You can.
Yeah, well, I'm getting to that point where I need them too. Hey, listen, unfortunately, we do have casualties this morning. One Air Force casualty, Lieutenant Colonel Flando Jackson died in an accident in Southeast Asia. That's all the information I have, but it was still in the line of duty. Several police officers, Justin Sherlane, he was killed in a traffic accident on duty, Amarillo Police Department. Next police officer was DeGron Frazier. He was from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, killed in a gunfire incident. And Bill Cooper, also a Sebastian County Sheriff officer, killed by gunfire. And then I think that's it. No one has anybody locally they want to mention? Good. Okay. Thanks, Larry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I can do it.
Side saddle, probably.
Oh, man.
No, come on. We're talking about riding in one of the new programs. We have a pilot program going with PTSD veterans and other folks. So it's been very successful so far. You've got some
I would
announcements.
like to thank, of course, Veterans News is brought to you by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery at 2610 Southeast 38th Street right here in Ocala. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wine's has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and so much more. Bob Wine's will even deliver, plant, and guarantee their trees. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery has been keeping you blooming since 1952. Remember, if you're a veteran, you get 10% off with proper identification. That's Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery. They have all the answers to all your gardening questions.
When you said plants and stuff and more, and they do, they've got that's a huge area back there. I don't know if you ever walked around back there.
Definitely.
A couple of acres of plants, shrubbery, trees, and if they plant them, they guarantee them.
They guarantee. Right. Yeah, I've been there.
And everything I bought out there is still growing, so.
Me too, so
and
far.
believe me, that's a challenge.
Knock on wood,
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people. They got they're good products, and they'll tell you they've got a lot of great information they'll share with you. So we
Speaking
appreciate
of
it.
information,
Yes, you have additional information.
yeah, the Don Harrison Foundation right here in Ocala is putting on an event on November 19th, which is a Saturday. It's a 5K run and a 10K race, so it's a run-walk. In your case, is observation. Supported.
Probably walk backwards.
We'll walk back. Oh, showing off, right? It's going to be at the Veterans Park in East Silver Springs Boulevard. Oh, boy. 6:30 a.m. check-in time and reservations and registrations. And 7:30 the race starts, Hank. But, Hank, I have to worry about you. You get up early in the morning. He's a 5:30 one. But Vets Helping Vets is one of the people that are going to profit from
Yeah,
this.
there's a number of charities that are going to profit.
Right.
The foundation's been doing, this is their second event. They did a golf tournament before. So they're good people, and again, the money goes to other charities in town that
There's
right
five
here,
altogether.
right here in Marion County, so you know where the money's going. And they're going to, I understand they're bringing in quite a few runners from across the state and maybe beyond the state, really. So
And it's
it ought
not
to be
too
a
late to
big,
be a
big
sponsor.
event. Yeah, big event.
Sponsor. Pick up the packets on Friday on the 18th. They don't know where you're going to pick them up yet. That's to be announced.
Well, I think everything's going to center around the Veterans Park.
presume.
Yeah, I mean, that's the original plan was to use the Resource Center, the Veterans Resource Center, but we won't be open yet. So they're going to the pavilion area in the Veterans Park is
Probably the staging area.
That's the staging area, and that's where they're going to pick up their packets and also run from.
All right, if you run
Stan
from.
McLean, and I think we're going to try to talk some of the other county commissioners into doing that. So.
Well, if you need information, it's
What we need, Joe, is radio personalities like
Larry?
You know who.
Well, he could broadcast live from there.
As he's running?
No, no. Now we give him a
Can't
golf cart.
broadcast live walking.
Yeah, give him a golf cart. Call 629-5591. That's 629-5591 for more information. And speaking of county commissioners,
Well, we'll be right with them. One other thing, the VFW Post
Tried.
4209 on 36th Avenue this Saturday and next Saturday have a Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. I understand there's going to be some food and some entertainment and kind of meet and greet.
this Saturday and next Saturday.
And next Saturday. That's my understanding. So the 13th and the 20th, they're going to go ahead and just gather some law enforcement people and have some entertainment. And
Where again, Hank?
At the 4209 VFW Post on 36th Avenue. We always tell people, look for the big World War II tank.
Oh, well, that will get your attention.
And that will get your attention. So you can't really miss it. It's in the northeast part of the county, in the city. So again, it sounds like a good event and your opportunity to meet some law enforcement people and just sort of meet and greet and show them your appreciation.
Definitely.
Outstanding. Very good. And you started to segue into our county commissioner.
I tried.
You tried, but you failed miserably.
Well, I
Yeah,
failed
you
miserably because Hank.
Unlike Stan McLean, who has been very successful. So there's sort of a compare and contrast.
Yes, it's very contrast. And as we move right along to you, Stan, please.
Very good. Well, thanks for letting me be here this morning. And, I think the first thing I want to talk about just for a minute is the Veterans Resource Center, and something we've been working on for a little while. And much longer than Hank's patience at times. But anyway,
He's trying to say that I was abusing his staff. That's what he's trying to say, really.
We did the paperwork last Tuesday and got the deal signed off and everything. So that's moving forward. And
That was a nice event, by the
It
way. A
was.
lot of comments from the troops in the field, a lot of the veterans, and other folks called me and talked about it. And they were a nice event. You put on a nice, nice ceremony. We all came over, and people really, the veterans and families of veterans really appreciate that effort. So.
Yeah, well, I think again, I think one of my comments, was that we don't know how big this is yet. In other words, we don't realize the magnitude of it because it's not.
Wow.
Because it's not work. Because we haven't seen it in action yet. But when we do, I think 10, 15 years down the road,
Not even.
Well, probably not. I'm just saying, we'll be able to look back and realize that what we did was something special and the right thing to do for veterans.
It's the first one in the state?
Yeah.
It is. It's the first. Matter of fact, you had another speaker from Gainesville who was talking about that. The guy from the Planning Council.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is, so the recognition is already there that Marion County has done something that other counties need to take a look at, and they are. They're getting inquiries, and we're getting inquiries about how it came about, what it took So
using us as a template.
yeah, and that's good. You know, why not? And as we go along, we'll learn and plan and do some things probably differently than we thought we were going to do. And that's really what it's about.
When I say this, but that's a feather in your cap.
You got a minute?
Got a break, yeah.
No, you want a break now? Let's go. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back, talk to Stan McLean.
All right, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds Thursday. A thunderstorm around during the afternoon and evening hours. Mainly dry though near the coast. The high 88 to 92. Then later Thursday night, partly cloudy. There can be a late night shower along the coast. Low 72 to 76. For Friday and Saturday, times of sun and clouds, along with a chance of a thunderstorm each afternoon. The high both days between 89 and 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Hey, this is Dan. Let me ask you a few questions. Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's Upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
This is Marion Hammer, past president of NRA. The National Rifle Association has endorsed Dennis Baxley in Senate District 12. We can count on Dennis Baxley to protect our Second Amendment right to own firearms for self-defense and other lawful reasons. Dennis Baxley is the only candidate in this race with a strong, proven record of actively protecting Second Amendment rights. If you value your freedom and your right to own firearms, then vote to protect that freedom. Vote for Dennis Baxley. It's more than guns. It's freedom. And Dennis Baxley will fight to protect your rights. Thank you for listening.
Dennis Baxley, our conservative champion. Paid by Dennis Baxley, Republican for State Senate.
WWWOCA,
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Fran Darkington. When I need news, I pass the rest and tune to the source, WOCA.
All right, 78 degrees here at the studios, and temperatures expected to climb to 90 today. Nice looking Thursday morning. Let's return to Veterans News with Hank Whittier. Hank?
I'm back. We're back today. What, are you disappointed?
You people have no idea what happens off air. Use and abuse, my goodness.
Well, listen, I told you, that's my way of showing affection.
Imagine if you didn't like them.
Yeah. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't talk to you. I mean, that's the...
Please.
Yeah.
So Hank, I've never asked you this question, so I'm gonna do it on air so I can get it
a straight, an honest answer.
An honest answer, yeah. So you were a DI, right?
No, I was not a DI.
Oh no, really?
No, I was a.
So how did
drill instructor?
How did I get this abusive?
Yeah, exactly.
He was abused by.
Well, I have to tell you the truth. Someone talked to me one time about having PTSD and being kind of mean spirited and all this. A VA, they wanted me to go to some training and some classes that would, get me. I said, listen, I was worse before I got in the Marine Corps. So Marine Corps actually made me better.
He's from Boston.
Yeah, took the edges off of him. Yeah.
Took a few edges off.
Yes.
Hey, Stan, listen, seriously now, you're kind of wrapping up your career as a county commissioner. I know you're in line for a couple other things that are going to happen for you, and But just, kind of walk us through. I know you've got some things you look back at and things you accomplished. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah,
kind of stand out in your memory.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Besides the Veterans Resource Center.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the most recent thing that we've probably been working on. And last week we went out to FedEx and ribbon cut the FedEx. We were invited to go out and cut the ribbon with them on that, and that's a huge issue, I think, for Marin County. And
a lot of jobs.
Really, in fact, I was talking to some of the principals of the 489 landowners, and it's been 5 years since we actually inked the deal to build the industrial site.
Wow.
So it's been about 5 years. It's been 5 years, but relatively short, I think, in the time of trying to get the deal inked. Then we had to build the roads, put the infrastructure in, do all that. Then they went out and got FedEx to say, yeah, we're committed. We're going to build on that site. And here we are 5 years later, and we've got this huge. Obviously a Fortune 50 company. I think they're the top 50 companies in the world. Anytime you think of FedEx, I don't know about you guys, I've never had a package that got lost. I know people probably have. I personally haven't.
No. Well, they're a well-managed company.
Absolutely.
Got lost on Castaway, just remember.
So what's the economic impact of FedEx on the county?
I think so. It was a $170 million capital investment by them just in the building and land that they bought, and then
that's a lot of jobs, a lot of money.
Yeah, there's
pouring into the
right
county.
now I think they're the job fair itself. They were looking for about 500 applicants, and they ended up with 2,000 people actually showed up to the job fair over the 2 days. And
wow.
So and it was not just from Marin County. There were people that came from Levy Citrus.
So they moved to our area.
Yeah, there were people that were kind of coming from outside the area. So so that's a big issue. The important part of that, though, I think is maybe what gets lost in the discussion is actually the industrial park itself, 500-acre industrial park, has all the infrastructure ready for it. The owners have actually gone in and leveled all the land out there and it's what we would call pad ready. So another company can come in. They don't really have to do any earth movement or anything. They just come in and say this is where we're going to build the building. And I think we'll probably have an announcement very soon, on another distribution center going on the same property out there. And so we're excited about that. But it creates an atmosphere where, when a company comes and they're looking for a place to, logistically, go, they look and say, well, FedEx is there. Oh, and here's these other guys. They put it, why are these guys putting them there? And so it really, sets us up good.
The impact that we're having on us right now, do these people know about the Panama Canal being dredged out and everything?
Sure, absolutely.
So that makes us one of the major ports, one of the major players because of where we're located right here, right now.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at I-75 and, that kind of thing, and then even some of the 301 is a really important corridor, and we don't think about it sometimes just because of the Jacksonville to I-75, more so just from Jacksonville to I-75 to get to I-75. And so, so that's but that's a huge issue, and all the ports in Florida are dredging and trying to be prepared for the Panamax ships. And I guess the first one actually passed through a couple weeks ago or whatever, and so they're starting to do that. And so I think those are some of the big issues, and it's something that while I think we would have liked to have had you'd want that done overnight. I think, though, it lends itself to diversity of our economic stability of the county. In other words, going forward, we're going to have these jobs that aren't as dependent on construction and those kinds of things, which we know was very detrimental to us during the recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. Well, it was bad.
Success breeds success. Sure. So when you have successful companies moving in, other companies sort of piggyback on them, and it's a major shot in the arm it's a major, people probably don't grasp really what's going on, just like you were talking about the resource center. The impact will be happening for years to come, and Marin County will be a lot better shape financially, economically than we are today.
Well, it'll go hand in hand with the people that are coming in. I think I hope a majority of them will be veterans.
Sure.
It already is happening. Marin County, and I can tell you because I deal with folks. So we get calls from folks who want to know more about Marin County and how come this is going on there. And they look at it as a veteran-friendly county. So a lot of good things. And now for the young vets, there are jobs here now.
That's
absolutely,
and that's important,
And I think too, it's one of the those are the intangibles that these companies look at when they're going to move to a county, when they're considering moving to a county. Those are the intangibles. They look at things like, do they support veterans? What's the financial health of county government, or this, if it's, let's say they'd be all located in the city, they're going to look and say, what's the financial health of the city? What's their past record for raising taxes and doing those kinds of things. And so I think that's some of the things. And from a financial health perspective, the county, we just received an updated grade from I believe it was from Standard & Poor's. Yeah, and we went from a large A minus to a large A, little a minus, which is about as high as you can get as in government. Now, in the private sector, you can go up to AAA plus or whatever. But so the financial health of the county government, financially, we're in good shape. Certainly we've had to make some hard decisions over the last several years. Certainly, some folks would say we didn't fund this enough or we didn't fund that enough. But I think at the end of the day, we tried to, we tried to make sure that the dollars were adequate to continue to, meet the services that we had to meet for our folks, and but the financial health of the county is good, and as we move forward and as we see some housing values come back, and this $170 million capital investment that adds to our tax rolls, and those kinds of things, and so. So the financial health of the community, it's one of the big drivers when folks are looking at places to locate. And water's always an issue. It's something that water's one of the things that I really was in my. It was fascinating to me, and I really got into it. And so I think what we've had to do is make sure, because water is an economic issue as well as an environmental issue as well as a health issue, and I think. All three of them kind of go together. You can't have economic viability without water. You can't have water without conservation and environmentally, making sure that we have a clean supply of water, and then making sure that there's a supply there big enough to support any growth that we might have. And it's one of the things I've been talking about a little bit is, the good news is there's 6 million people moving into Florida over the next 15 years. So for a business guy, that's good news. The bad news is there's 6 million people moving into Florida over the next 15 years. And so we're going to have to find a way to make sure that we've got transportation and water and educational opportunities, jobs, the whole thing. So it's good news and bad news, but I think there's a lot of opportunity. I'm optimistic. I'm really optimistic about the future of Florida. I'm really optimistic about the future of Marin County. I think we're really well positioned to move Marin County forward and to
so many questions I want to ask you, but we don't have time. That's a whole other.
Yeah, it is.
We've got them until November, so we can always get them back and ask those questions.
When you hit the water question, there's so much on to that. I'll let you finish your thing because we've got about a minute and a half.
Yeah. I'll just again the water issue. It can. If we don't have, the first question that's asked is, do you have enough water to support whatever you want to do? Whether it's having FedEx come in here, or whether it's having building a housing development, wherever it might be, you got to have enough water to do that. And so I think we need to. And then for us, for Marin County, it's also an economic opportunity from the sense that these companies, the other thing they look at and they go, so what are some recreational opportunities? Because we know that the millennials are looking for these recreational opportunities. And so, when you can tell them, hey, we've got these rivers, we've got this, we've got these trails, we got, they're interested in that. And so I think it's, another piece of the puzzle. So.
Larry, what do we have for time?
We have a minute and a half.
A minute and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, well, and again, a lot of folks are talking about, environmental related tourism, and we've got the springs, we've got the river, we've got, you got fishing, you have hunting, you have all these other things besides the economic development.
And a lot of those places give discounts to veterans.
They do.
And if you're a veteran, disabled vet, I think you could sign up And you get free passes to all the state parks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and again, if you're disabled, you get more, benefits and stuff. So, it's a draw. It's one of the draws that brings people into the county. But people are looking for jobs. It used to be we're looking for a place to retire. But when I came, I wasn't looking for a place to retire. I was looking for employment when I came down here.
Right.
And a lot of the millennials and the young vets, that's what they're looking for. Hey, it's nice that we can retire here.
And raise a
But
family.
how can I raise a family here? How can I make a living? When we first moved here, things were not like they are today. It's a lot better environment today than it was years ago, employment-wise. And that's, I think, because of some of the leadership we've had. And we've had some good leadership, and particularly the last few years with Stan, Kathy, and some of the other people over there. And we appreciate that.
Have Stan back again? Because I've got questions.
No, you can have Stan back as often as you like, at least on my show. I tell you, Stan is always, I'll tell you, and I mentioned it before, Stan has always been one of those folks we go to, meaning the veterans, to get a straight answer. He doesn't, we don't always agree, but, so Stan's a welcome guest on a veteran show anytime.
About out of time.
And we're out of time, and I'll tell Stan and you, thank you for helping out this morning.
Thanks,
and
Hank.
Thank you for your service, folks, and God has, and God will, and God bless America, everybody.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Donald Trump telling a crowd in Florida the president of the United States started a militant group.
He's the founder of ISIS, okay?